Welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. You might notice in decorations, it is actually Christmas Day. I haven't made a video in a while, but I decided to make a reflection on something I did today. I did an online virtual recital, Christmas themed, of course, and I finished it a few hours ago, and I've been reflecting on how it went. First of all, it went really well for all things considered, but it got me thinking a lot about process. I should rephrase. Got me thinking about all the pieces coming together and who I am now versus who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, etc. And I think the big takeaway was just how, especially in the past, and I think this is what relates to most kids these days, is I would live in fear. I'd be afraid of trying new things. I'd be afraid of putting myself out there. I'd be afraid of judgment. And yet over the last 5 years, my personal growth journey, my habits, my routines, just my teaching skills have constantly kind of informed me and allowed me to grow in confidence in myself. And it's funny, I see these things in kids. So I'm gonna try to tie this into performance. We did our Christmas concert in our band, and my youngest band is a beginning band. It's mainly sixth graders, a few seventh graders, and like one or two eighth graders. But it amazed me how timid, anxious, and frankly just scared they were to perform. Although and I mean, I had to, before the concert, I had to be nothing but just, you've got this, I believe in you. Like, I had to be just this positive presence. And it reminds me, though, that a lot of what we have done in society, unfortunately, is remove barriers, but the barriers are actually what helped us grow. And so we remove obstacles so kids don't actually encounter adversity and how to cope with it. And so again, and maybe I'll be the first to say, maybe being a 42-year-old man can't remember back to when I was in sixth grade, but my impression of that time was that we understood that life wasn't necessarily easy and that you just kind of did it, and that you grew from it. I mean, my very first experience of performing that I can remember was doing a solo and ensemble as a sixth grader on trumpet, and I did it, thought it was terrible, definitely had nerves and anxiety, and the next thing I did after, went and cried for 20 minutes because I thought it was awful. Now looking back, I have nothing but fond memories. And so I bring this up because I bring it up for multiple reasons. One is, fast forwarding to today, I did this recital virtual, and yeah, I might have been a little nervous here and there, but it amazes me how confident I felt. And the fact that I have gone through this process hundreds, if not thousands of times, and even though I still get nervous, I have the ability to keep those nerves in check, to feel confident in my abilities. And that's ultimately what we want for students, is we want them to have a sense of confidence, conviction, and perseverance, grit, and basically belief in themselves that if they work hard, they can figure it out and they can do it. And so there's all these little things tied into this, is setting a goal and achieving it, right? The process of setting the goal is also what builds the confidence. So it's this act of doing. Now, coming back, I don't think I would have, even a year ago, I would have been able to do it. I just don't think I would have had the confidence even in myself, even a year ago, to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put myself out there, do this virtual recital. And I'm already, I'm 3 hours after, and I'm so glad I did it. I felt pride, which again, I mean, that can be a sin as well, but I felt really good about the fact that I accomplished it. And even if it hadn't gone perfectly, and it didn't go perfectly, it went well, and I'm very proud of it. But I say this because I see the connection in the education system and how we're failing kids. And, I don't know the 100% answer. I know for me, it's this idea of what I say in here all the time: consistent effort over time equals success. You put an emphasis on effort all the time, and you allow kids, or point out to kids, that by doing it anyway, you grow. By doing it anyway, you learn how to build that confidence in yourself. And so again, I guess I'm just taking this moment to say, I recognize what a giant step it was for me to say, you know what, put yourself out there on this virtual recital. And yet, looking back, it was way easier than I thought. But I think it was easier because I literally have been preparing for this type of stuff for the last 5 years. I didn't get nervous about speaking. I didn't worry about what I was going to say. I knew how to, I should say, I didn't, I didn't ramble like I have done in the past. I felt confident going in. I know how to practice because I've improved my process. So all of this is to say that for students, repetition is important, effort is important, and setting these little goals, putting yourself out there, to achieve some sort of tangible goal. And again, I'll go back and say this is why I think that music education, number one, is the most important thing we could be teaching students across the board, is because all of the little meta habits that breed success, they are found in music. And again, you got your two sides of the brain being active simultaneously. You've got collaboration. I mean, I could go on and on. That's not the point of this video. It's just to document just what can happen when kids or any person puts a goal out there, does the necessary work, figures out the routines, is producing consistent effort over time. And then you get to that moment and you're like, oh, that was easy. And guess what? I want to do it again. I want to do it again and again and again. I want to find opportunities to keep performing, to keep experiencing that, keep sharing gifts, right? So again, this is the thing about kids. We have to look for their gifts, that they have, encourage them, tell them that it's a process. Failure is a process. Getting yourself out there to play in front of people is a process. If you don't do it enough, you'll never overcome it. And so, again, I hope this is all making sense. A kind of more of a stream of consciousness video, but I also haven't made one in a while. It just felt like a good day to do it. And, Merry Christmas, of course. So with that said, as always, remember, consistent effort over time equals success. And I'll see you in the next video.